Y'all, how's it going? Welcome back to Seed to Plate channel. It's been a couple of weeks and I'm sorry for that. If you're new here, my name is Brooke. We talk all things urban gardening here and some cooking of those things that we have in our garden. And I've been on vacation for 2 weeks. That was a massive hawk. Oh my God. So I live in Zone 8B in Austin, Texas, and it is August, which means the garden is gross and dead. So I had all of these awesome plans to do these cool videos before I left for vacation, and between getting the house ready, working, taking care of the dogs, starting the seedlings, I just literally ran out of time. So I'm so sorry for promising you something that never ended up happening, but I am back and I have something kind of exciting to share. I have been flexing my creative muscles pretty hard, which is rare for me because my job requires zero creativity. And I would love your help in developing something. So this shirt that I am wearing, it says, "Where flowers bloom, so does hope." I've got it tied up because it's a very, very long shirt. It's like very, very long. So I had been having fun making some designs for t-shirts and journals, and the garden really is a place that inspires me. Oh, there's Cooper. The garden is a place that really inspires me, and so I really want to share that with all of you. But this shirt is very long. And the other thing is, at the beginning, while I'm kind of gauging interest and seeing if this is the path I want to go down, I will be using on-demand print services, namely a company called Printful. So the wait time is a little bit longer to get your shirt printed and shipped to you, and I have zero control over the fulfillment. So right now, the control that I do have is the design and the product. This was just the first shirt I picked. It is made in the USA, so that's good. But just kind of while I'm exploring these options, I have to do so very lightly. So I'm not ready to put my designs live yet, but if you have any input, I would love for you to leave it in the comments. So let's take a look at the backyard garden, and then I'm gonna take you out to the community plot here in a little bit. Y'all, the garden looks pretty rough, I'm not gonna lie to you, but here we are, being transparent. And you know, the garden's not always gonna look perfect. In fact, it's probably rarely gonna look perfect. A lot of these beds need cleaning up. This one certainly needs cleaning up, although we do have some really beautiful zinnias happening right here. These are the illumination zinnias from Baker Creek. And yeah, there's just grass. We just need to get cleaned up. That cinnamon basil's ready to come out. This wood is from our tree in the front that we're still breaking down. This was supposed to be my sunflower wall. I've got a couple. They're trying real hard, but I think they keep getting eaten, and so I think I'm actually going to put some zinnias that I started from seed in the house in there. Although it seems like there's some little zinnias popping up because I've just been throwing like my dead flowers over here. But those are all happening, and then these were melons. Do they look good? No, they look terrible. So these were melons, and they just really struggled here for whatever reason. This bed really needs to be amended. This illustrates the power of mulch. So I am a big mulch advocate. I fully mulched like 2 or 3 inches of native cedar mulch in my community plot. I have to water that thing once, maybe twice a week, and it is like the drought of summer. My beds at home, I did a little experiment where I used chopped up leaves from just raking in the yard. They decomposed really well, but like too well, to the point where now I have no more mulch. So I'm actually going to be switching over to mulching with native cedar mulch all of these beds. So that's kind of August's project. August is really hot here in Central Texas, Zone 8B, so a lot of what I'll be doing in August is amending beds with fresh compost, weeding, mulching, and getting prepped for fall planting. So just a couple of other things. This pumpkin probably has been nailed by squash vine borers, and I'm probably gonna lose it. And I think I've just accepted it. It looks like shit. Cucumbers are done. They just look bad. I got really bad those stupid little bugs. The little leaf-footed bugs that just suck the water out of like everything. I got those really bad in here. And then here's my okra. So I will show you guys what the okra that I picked looks like yesterday, because it's large, and I believe some of these okra fell over because I have had some visitors eating my spent sunflowers. But it looks like there's a couple of okra in here that need to be picked. I left some yesterday when I was doing my initial picking. And the okra is coming in. So with this okra, I'm actually tonight making, the dish I'm making tonight is kind of like my version of a Carolina rice dish. And it's got okra and baby potatoes and onions and garlic and chicken thighs, and it's just filling and nutritious, and it's really tasty. So this is some of the okra I'll be using with what I just picked, but I know there's a bunch in here. So okra is one of those things that it's incredibly drought resistant, brought over from West Africa, and mostly, brought over either by slaves or by slave owners who needed to bring produce that slaves would eat and wouldn't make them sick. So they tried to bring seeds and produce that enslaved people would eat, because they were trying to keep them alive, because they were enslaving them to sell them. Okra has a very torrid history. It's something that I feel odd about, growing okra, knowing how it got here. And same thing goes for watermelon. That's another one that came over with enslaved people. So, I think there is a certain responsibility being somebody in the South and understanding that kind of food history. And, you don't necessarily have to condemn yourself as a white person, but I think being educated about that stuff is incredibly pivotal. So hopefully I don't get shit for saying all of that, but it's fucking true. So there's that. So we've got some okra that I'm gonna grab out of here today, and it just, man, when it starts coming in, it comes in fast. I mean, it's crazy. Like, we're gonna be eating okra for a while. And so I planted 3 different types of okra. I planted Clemson spineless, which is this green one, and then I planted burgundy, red burgundy, and then I also planted this cool variety that got way too big. This is the thing with okra. Sometimes you have to pick it twice a day, because this was a third of the size, like yesterday, and I should have picked it. So this is a variety called Jing Orange. And so okra originated in Africa, but also in Southeast Asia. Well, I talk to people about okra sometimes, which sounds weird, but I do. And I think okra is really misunderstood. So we have, this is the burgundy right here. It's a real burgundy. It's a Clemson spineless, very green. And here's that Jing Orange, which is really kind of like this pinky orange color. And so okra, it's so good for you. People will say it's slimy, and that's because it kind of is a little bit. Okra is a little bit slimy, but that's because it has mucilage in it. And mucilage is really good for your digestive system. So the way that I like to cook okra, you can fry okra and it's really good. I mean, anything's good fried. You can fry okra and it's really good that way, but I like to either split it in half and then broil it at a high temperature, like, maybe put it on like a high broil for a couple minutes, and put lots of seasonings and herbs on it. It's really good that way. But it's also, I have no idea what this black shit is I just got on my hand. But it's also really good in dishes, like in kind of like a stewed dish. It acts as a thickener. So that's why I like putting it in these rice dishes, because it almost gives it like this very like nicely textured sauce with the rice and the chicken. Am I making sense? So here's our somewhat messy kitchen table. These are some of the okra that I harvested yesterday. They are freaking massive. I mean, like, excuse me. They're so big. So these ones, I'm actually gonna let them dry out and save them for seeds. These I will actually cook with. So this is what will go in our dinner tonight. And the pods are still pretty long, but the fact that they're gonna be cooked in a broth dish will really soften them up. But ideally, you wanna pick them at like this size at the largest. So, but the difference between this and something like this, that difference can happen, I shit you not, in about 24 hours, maybe 12. So there's not that much time difference between these two things, which is why you really need to harvest okra, like, quickly. We will make it over to the community plot later today and see how that's doing. Going on vacation is great, but coming home and kind of navigating whatever issues are in your garden is a little stressful. Hey guys, how's it going? It is a couple days later and I am actually working on a project today. My hair is crazy, y'all. Getting my hair cut tomorrow, I can't wait, but besides the point, I was at the community plot this morning. It looks like garbage. There's like no point in showing you what it looks like. But I'm doing a project today. It is the afternoon heat here in Texas, so it is time to be inside, which is perfectly fine because I have plenty to keep me busy. And really the main thing I need to do, which the lighting might be terrible, in here is I will be getting these apart in each of their cells and putting them in their own individual cells. These will be for a community garden plant cell as well as my own garden and just to give away to some family and friends. These are green glaze and Alabama blue collard greens. So I'm going to move into some better light and show you how I do this. Okay guys, so I've just plucked out one cell of that big tray that we had. And you can see there's some really good roots in here for the plants, okay? And there are quite a few in here. So I've done this every time I've started seeds and it's always worked. So we're just gonna gently separate, and by I mean very gently separate. Really get them untangled, because by this stage they're pretty tangled. This probably should have been done about a week ago, but I was very busy. So you're going to untangle these guys, kind of get them laid out. It looks like, and these are all collard greens. They're either Alabama blue or green glaze. I don't remember which ones. I didn't label my plants, but who's surprised? Oh, see, I wasn't gentle enough with this one and it broke. I don't know if I'll be able to save that one, but I'm going to try. And it looks like we've got 2 more. So out of just that one cell, we have 5 seedlings. So this is a fresh cell pack. And so I take a pen, literally just a pen, and I shove that down in there to make room for the new seedling. And I'll literally just take this one single seedling and I'll just plunk that down in there. I want to make sure you get to the bottom. I just plunk that guy down in there, and usually you don't want to bury the stem of a leafy plant too deep, but these can kind of stand it a little bit. Also, sometimes I clearly get frustrated and use my finger. So you can see some really healthy root development here. That's great to see. And you just, sometimes I find if I take a finger and I go at the base of the roots and I kind of guide it in really gently, that I can get it in that way as well. And they're gonna look a little funky. They're definitely gonna have some transplant shock. That's very normal. I shoved this dirt a little too hard in there. And then you end up with these beautiful little 6 cell packs. So that one I buried a little deeper, and that's totally fine. In my experience, they do fine with it as long as you're not overwatering them. That's when it can create some problems. But I think this was the one I broke. Yeah, we'll see if that one lives. That one might be a TBD. You do want to be like very, very careful with these because their roots are just very delicate because they're little baby plants. Oh, it looks like, you know what, this one's teeny tiny, this guy, but I'm gonna stick him in there and see if he lives. You never know. Okay, so like I said, that was just 1 cell out of like a 24 cell pack that filled a 6-pack. So, you know, I start a lot of seedlings knowing that they're not all gonna take, that I wanna give them away to friends and family, and also this time around I started way more because of this fall plant sale we're having. So that's how I separate seedlings. It's always worked for me in the past. You just have to be really careful. There definitely comes a time in the process where I stop being careful because I've been doing it for too long. So in that case, take a break, or maybe pick it up the next day. Like, this doesn't all need to happen in one day. The seedlings can typically go like, you know, a few days and it's totally fine. So I'm gonna be working on like half a tray at a time. And then my friend, who's also part of my community garden, is coming over tomorrow to help me like really put a dent in things. So I hope this helped. I'm gonna go ahead and put out this video so that I can get back on track next week. So thank you so much for watching. Happy gardening, and we'll see you next week.